Hello, welcome to me reading dumb shit 2.0. My friend Veronica has graciously gifted me the EPUB of a book called Gamer Girl by Mari Mancusi that I will now read on this YouTube live stream that I think saves afterwards. God, I hope so. So let us begin. Gamer Girl by Mari Mancusi. It has a dedication right up here at the front to all the IRL gamer girls, that's GRRLS, out there who totally pwn the boys with a Z. Hot, that's HAWT, Chickzors for the win, or FTW. So that really just kind of gives us an immediate insight into the kind of novel we are about to embark on. Let us get into it. Chapter 1. Grandma's house was a study of crystal and glass and contained 1,153 unicorns. I knew because I counted one drizzly dreary Thanksgiving when we were stuck inside waiting for the world's slowest turkey to brown. Horned beasts of crystal, glass, china, wood. She called them her, quote, babies, and treasured them more than her dwindling life savings. In parentheses, dwindling mainly due to her unicorn habit. You wouldn't believe the prices of these things from the Franklin Mint. Whenever we'd come over, she'd sit me down and show me her favorites. She had a lot of favorites. That was fine and tolerable when we lived an hour away and saw her once a year, over the river and through the woods and all that. But now we were living with her, in her museum-like house, surrounded by unicorns. I suppose my story isn't unique. After all, half of marriages end in divorce, or so they say. Maybe I should count my blessings that Mom and Dad stuck it out as long as they did. Still, having to vacate our uber-hip Back Bay Boston brownstone, leave my private school and friends behind, and move to Unicorn Land, all in the middle of my sophomore year, was a bit much. But I had no choice. Mom and Dad weren't speaking, unless they were yelling. Neither one could afford the mortgage on the brownstone, so they smacked down a for sale sign and split. Dad to a smaller apartment down the street, and Mom, me, and my 8-year-old sister, Emily, to New Hampshire. To grandmother's house we go. I can't even begin to tell you how painful that last day at my old school was. Saying goodbye to all my beloved teachers, promising my friends I'd IM and text at every possible second, cleaning out my locker and tearing down the My Chemical Romance poster I'd stuck on the inside door on the first day of the school year. I'd been so full of hopes and dreams for the year back then. I was going to join the art club, write for the school paper, and, of course, make Ashley's older brother, David Silverman, my boyfriend. Then in parentheses. Okay, the last one was a long shot, but you couldn't blame a girl for being goal-oriented, could you? Such good humor in this already. It was going to be the best year ever. Now, 4 months later, it was gearing up to be the worst. Maddie, you better get down here or you'll miss the bus, Grandma called from downstairs, bringing me back to my hellish reality, aka my first day at Hannah Dustin High School. There were prisoners on death row more excited. There were prisoners on death row more excited about their pending visit with the electric chair than I was about my enrollment. I mean, hello? First off, there was a bus. An actual bus to take me from my middle-of-nowhere grandma's house to my still middle-of-nowhere school. Back home, I always walked. Met my friends at Dunkin' Donuts for French crullers and coffee, then giggled and gossiped all the way to the campus of Boston Academy. Now I'd actually have to board a smelly, fume-filled, environment-destroying bus to get to school. That's not true. Buses are good for the environment. At least I was getting my license in a few weeks. That's bad for the environment. When I turned 16. Though my chances of getting Grandma to lend me the car were slim to none. Okay, Does the mom not have a car? Where's the mom in this picture? Because I thought she moved in with her mom and her sister, but it seems like her grandma's the one taking care of her, which is very confusing to me. My cell buzzed, scattering all thoughts of transportation. I glanced down to see the text. From Caitlin. Good luck on first day. I smiled, feeling a tiny bit better. At least I had my friends. Sure, they were further away from me now, but they still cared. I punched in Caitlin's number. Hey girl, I said into the phone after she answered. Why did you have to punch in her number? Like, do you not have that saved? Oh, hey Mads, how's it going? How are the burbs? They arrest you for not wearing Gap yet? Turn your mom into a Stepford wife? Caitlin had a habit of asking at least 4 questions in the same breath, making it impossible to answer any of them. Hardy har har, I replied. You're too funny. Whatever. That's with an EVAH at the end there. At least I'm not funny looking. Haven't looked in the mirror lately, have you? I asked with mock sympathy. Just this, repertoire is, so snappy. I'm looking now, baby, and I'm looking fine. Damn fine. No one talks like this. I grinned, picturing my best friend dancing in front of the mirror as she was known to do. Weird, alright? Flaunting all that God had given her to anyone who cared to look. Caitlin was born without an insecurity gene. She died, that's the wrong died, spelled D-I-E-D here, it should be D-Y-E-D. She dyed her hair pink and pierced her own nose in the 7th grade. Extreme, alright. Her mother was totally cool with it, too, saying that girls need to express themselves early in life so they could blossom into healthy, self-sufficient women who didn't need a man to complete them. Then, parentheses, Caitlin's mother was also divorced after her husband ran off to Vegas with his secretary. Some believe she was still a bit bitter about the whole thing. Maybe my divorced mom would now let me explore the manic panic hair color rainbow, too. It'd be so cool to get some pink streaks in my hair. Listen, it's one thing to, like, dye your own hair. I feel like this mother is maybe a little irresponsible that she was totally fine with her daughter piercing her nose by herself in the 7th grade. I feel like that's something that should take some professional oversight. But I'm not a parent. What do I know? Neither do I have my nose pierced, as you can see. One time, Caitlin and I went to Harvard Square after school and got the clip-on kind. Mom nearly had a heart attack until she found out they weren't real. Oh, clip-on hair, okay. Sorry, I stopped in the middle of the sentence and I was thinking about nose rings. I'm like, you can get a clip, I mean, you... Anyway. Madeline! Grandma again, this time sounding more insistent. I groaned. Sorry, Kate. Gotta run before Grandma has kittens and starts sneezing to death. No one says that. Okay, no prob, Caitlin said. Good luck today. I hope you meet tons of uber cool rock girls and sexy, sexy bad boys. No one talks like this. I'll settle for anyone not openly worshipping the gods of Amber Zombie, I replied with a laugh, getting some, like, real nice My Immortal vibes here. You know, fuck those preps. Yeah. Listen to My Chemical Romance is a fine band, but Amber Zombie, huh? I replied with a laugh. I'll miss you guys. Don't have too much fun without me. Wouldn't dream of it. We'll mourn you all day and fast in your honor at lunchtime. Unless they're serving pizza, of course. If they're serving pizza, consider yourself gone and forgotten. Fair enough. I'll call you after school to let you know how it went. Cool. Later, Gator. I pressed end, grabbed my hoodie, and vacated the Pepto-Bismol-colored, unicorn-themed bedroom Grandma had stuck me in. Pretty nauseating, let me tell you, though I couldn't exactly complain. After all, originally she wanted me to share it with Emily. I think I would have stabbed myself with a unicorn horn if I had to bunk up with my little sis. Luckily for me, Emily wasn't so keen on the idea either, and used her big mouth to voice her displeasure, repeatedly. So Grandma cleaned out her sewing room and declared it Emily's. These kids are kind of dicks, huh? I mean, this poor woman who has worked all her life and finally has a place of her own, her kids moved out, and now her kids moving back in with their grandkids, and she has to like pack up her sewing room because the two girls don't want a room together. It's pretty inconsiderate. She's doing a lot for y'all. A kid had a gift for getting exactly what she wanted. I envied that. I started down the shag-carpeted stairs and found Grandma sitting in the unicorn-infested living room below, a sentry guarding the path to freedom. And let's just say her stern, disapproving look could have been picked up by a satellite. I glanced around for Mom, but she was nowhere to be found. Must have already left for work. Not good. I bit my lower lip, knowing exactly what was coming before the woman even opened her mouth. You're wearing that to school? Yes? I really couldn't think of anything else to say. I prayed I was wrong about Mom being at work and that she'd suddenly come around the corner and assure Grandma that my look was perfectly acceptable for a 21st century teen. But no luck. Okay, fine. Maybe I should have dressed a tad more conservative. We were in the suburbs, after all. But image was everything in high school, and I felt I needed to make the appropriate "this is who I am" statement from day one to attract the right friends. Sad, but true. So I donned a short plaid skirt paired with Doc Marten boots and a zip-up hoodie over my Puka the Goblin Cat baby doll tee. Wow. Is that a real thing? Let me Google that. Puka the Goblin Cat. Of course it's a real thing. Wow. Yeah, that's about what I expected. All right. Anyway. Where was I? Doc Marten boots, Hippopotamus, my Puka the Goblin Cat baby doll tee. It said, gothy, but approachable. At least to me. Grandma was obviously getting a different message as she fanned herself with a wrinkly hand, shaking her head in disbelief. Eesh! You would have thought I'd come downstairs in Britney Spears' last VMA outfit. Which is a good point. Like, she's wearing a skirt, and a hoodie, basically. That's not, like, exactly risque. I guess. Though also, I don't know why she's, like, so freaked out about her outfit. She went to, like, a private school. Didn't she wear a uniform before? Madeline Ann, you look like a dead prostitute, she declared. I opened my mouth to defend and retort, but reluctantly closed it again. We'd been drilled by Mom since day one not to talk back to Grandma. After all, she's so nice to let us live here. We need to respect her and her rules. I agree, Madeline's mom. I don't know what kind of getup you wore back in that city, Grandma said, spitting out the word city as if it were poison. But you'll find kids in Farmingdale don't dress like that. It was an effort not to roll my eyes. How did she know what kids wore? When was the last time she hung out at the local high school? I'd be willing to bet it was back when Grease was still the word. Hey, Grease is a good musical. Shut the fuck up. I looked longingly. Also, they had some cool skirts back in the 50s. Well, no, Grease was the word. I mean, I guess it depends what they mean by when Grease was the word. Do they mean when Grease was like still a popular like indie off Broadway musical? Because that would be, like early 70s, I think. Early 60s or early 70s. I can't quite remember when it came out. But if she means like within the meadow of Grease, then of course it's the 50s. That's something to consider. Let's all ponder upon that as we move forward. I looked longingly at the front door, wondering if I could just make a run for it. Grandma was old, had arthritis. She probably couldn't catch me if I dashed outside and caught the bus just as it was picking up the neighbor's kids down the street. Then, as if by a miracle, I heard a beep outside. Phew! The bus, I cried. Gotta go. Grandma leapt in front of the door, effectively blocking my escape. For a lady approaching 70, she sure could move quickly. Not so fast, she said. I'll drive you. She folded her arms across her chest. After you change. But, no buts. Now hop to it. I don't know what this voice is. It came to me, it spoke to me, so we're doing it. My shoulders slumped. I wasn't going to win this, was I? I trudged over to the stairs, my feet feeling like they were made out of lead. Out the window, I caught the bright yellow vision of freedom pulling away from the curb. You know, I remarked as I climbed stair by stair, I don't have anything in my closet you'd possibly approve of. Seriously, most everything I own is black. But Grandma had already thought of this. Don't worry, sweetie, she replied immediately. You can borrow some of my clothes. I stopped walking. Oh no, 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 no. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, I'd been stuffed into a pair of bulky, pale blue mom jeans that came up past my belly button. High-waisted is back in, so joke's on you. And totally non-fitted oversized sweatshirt with, brace yourself here, frolicking unicorns embroidered on the front. Actually, this sounds like a pretty fucking sweet look. An oversized sweater with high-waisted jeans, like, that's in right now. That's fashionable, especially with, like, the retro unicorn thing going on. Like, that's a good look. It couldn't get worse. It just couldn't. I looked in the mirror, tears welling up in my eyes. Please, Grandma, I can't wear this to school. Seriously. And why not? She demanded, coming up behind me and straightening my sweatshirt. I think you look adorable. Of course you do. Yeah, but they're... I was about to say old lady clothes, but remembered Mom's warning not to offend. No one my age would be caught dead in this kind of outfit, I amended. If I show up like this, everyone's going to laugh at me. If they laugh at you, then they're not your friends, Grandma huffed. The real friends don't judge people by what they wear, but what they're like on the inside. There was a huge, gigantic flaw in that argument, since she was the one who made me change clothes in the first place. But I realized it would do no good to point that out. Grandma's owned with facts and logic. Instead, I looked back in the mirror, praying maybe I could pull it off as some kind of edgy streetwear the kids in the burbs hadn't heard of yet. Like, dude, unicorns are so in right now. Where have you been? But it was no use. While I might have slid by with the unicorn thing, there was no way the mom jeans would escape notice. I would have to kill myself on the way to school, or run away and join the circus, or... A plan formed in my mind. As soon as Grandma dropped me off, I'd leave campus and find a store. There had to be stores around somewhere. Buy a decent outfit and head to class. I might have to miss first period, but it would be well worth it. She just cares enough cash to, like, buy a whole new outfit? Like, jeans aren't cheap. Your mom had to move back in with her mom. I don't think you have the budget for this, young lady. Okay, let's go. This voice is getting away from me, Grandma said, jingling her keys. Feeling better at having a plan, I joined her in the ancient Toyota and let her drive me to school. 10 minutes later, she pulled up into the parking lot. I looked up at the brick building on the hill. What would it be like? Would my teachers be cool? Would I find new friends? I looked down at my hands and realized they were shaking. I wished for the 1,000th time I was wearing my normal clothes. I would have felt a hell of a lot more confident dressed as me. I exited the car, thanking Grandma for the ride. To my dismay, she pulled the key out of the ignition and joined me on the curb. I said, looking at her smiling face with concern. What are you doing? I thought I'd walk you to the office, she replied, obviously pleased with herself. Oh, God, you really don't have to. I insist. Of course she did. She also insisted on grabbing me by the hand when we crossed the street, and her iron grip didn't loosen as we approached the school. The sinking feeling in my stomach was getting worse. I could feel the stares as soon as we reached the school entrance and heard the snickers. Not surprising, I guess. How often did you see a grandma dragging a unicorn-clad girl to the front doors of your local high school? They all probably thought I was special needs. We'll go to the principal's office and get your schedule, Grandma explained, as if I were a 5-year-old on her first day of kindergarten. I hung my head and prayed for some kind of divine intervention. Maybe I was only dreaming. I'd wake up any second now, cozy in my bed, realizing this was all just one big, long, horrible nightmare. But no such luck. I was really here, and the nightmare was my reality. We stepped through the double doors into a sea of lip-glossed Barbies and Tom Brady wannabes. Tom Brady was your pull for like, okay, I mean, like Barbie has like a male counterpart. His name is Ken. I feel like that would have made more sense here, but your book. I did a double take. Caitlin warned me this could happen, but I'd laughed her off. Surely every high school had some diversity, right? Boy, not the diversity I'm thinking of, huh? You mean you want some goths? Evidently wrong. It was as if I had wandered into a living, breathing American Eagle commercial. Shudder. I looked around, desperately trying to pinpoint at least one person who might prefer Hot Topic, there it is, over H&M, but came up empty. Where were the mop-headed emo boys and Edward Cullen worshipping goth girls? Jesus Christ. Oh, boy. Where were the skater kids, the punk rockers? I felt a lump rise to my throat. This was so not good. So for the record, I went to high school at in the burbs to like a preppy ass place. Goth kids still exist. They out there. Same with skaters. So relax. Anger burned in my gut. Stupid mom for leaving dad. Jesus. Maybe if mom was in such a hurry to skip town, they could have gotten counseling or something. Worked it out. Then I'd be back in Boston right now, in my old school, laughing with my old friends, without a care in the world, instead of rotting away in my current hell. How long is chapter 1? Jesus, okay, we got like fucking 3 more pages. The sea of kids parted suddenly, almost diving out of the way. I looked down, the newly formed path raising my eyebrows. 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, sauntered down the hallway in a way you usually only see in teen movies. Heads high, shoulders back, self-satisfied smirks written across their perfect faces. They might as well have been wearing t-shirts with the word popular scrawled across the front. Who are they? I wondered aloud, forgetting Grandma for the moment. You must be new, a Buddy Holly / Elvis Costello lookalike, to my right chuckled. The only kid I'd seen so far that even remotely stood out from the rest of the clones. That's Hannah Dustin High's Royal Court. Billy, Chad, Lucy, and Chelsea. Boy. In that order. They pretty much rule the school. That much was obvious, given the odd stares of the rest of the kids. I studied the 4 of them closer. Lucy wore a cheerleading outfit. No shock there. Chelsea, on the other hand, was channeling her inner Jackie O, dressed to impress with a pristine pink suit, complete with a requisite string of pearls and a dainty white clutch in her well-manicured hand. No one dresses like this. No one does this in high school. No. It should have looked old-fashioned, but the girl totally worked it. I turned my attention to the 2 boys. Billy was tanned, tall, and muscular. Good-looking. Your typical jock meathead, really, wearing a Patriots jersey and camouflage pants. And Chad, Virgin, what's the main character? Virgin Maddie versus Chad. My breath hitched as my eyes fell on Chad. He was tall too, but lean, like a cat almost, carrying himself with the slinky grace of a model or movie star. He had curly blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, framed with long, sooty ashes, a chiseled face with perfectly sculpted cheekbones, and a full mouth that looked perfectly kissable. I shivered. Utterly delicious. Not that it mattered. I mean, let's face it. Even if I were dressed in my normal clothes and not unicorn chic, no one like him would ever go out with someone like me. I was a skater kid's girlfriend, not the homecoming queen. Hey, isn't that that Taylor Swift song? And this wasn't some bad 80s Molly Ringwald movie like Pretty in Pink. Besides, I remind myself as I force my gaze away from his beautiful face, he was probably dumb and spoiled and used to girls fawning over him. Good-looking guys usually were, especially if they'd found themselves in the popular clique, as this guy had. I'm sure he would annoy the hell out of me the second he opened his mouth. Still, I had to admit, there was just something about him. I realized the four of them had stopped in front of me. Oh joy, time to be sized up and judged by the popular clique. This day was getting more and more like a bad after-school special every minute. After the commercial break, I'd probably start drinking and doing drugs just to fit in, only to have my best friend die and my mother convince me to head to rehab and restart my life, friendless, sober, and alone, but strangely happy and peaceful about it all. Nice shirt, Chelsea sniffed, giving me a once-over. Yeah, I think my 5-year-old sister has one just like it, Lucy added snottily. Hey, leave the girl alone, Billy said with a smirk. It's obvious she's horny. He cracked up at his own lame joke. Get it? Horny? Like a unicorn on her shirt? That's actually pretty realistic high school dialogue, I think. He high-fived Chad, who seemed a bit reluctant to slap his hand back. Or maybe it was just my imagination. In the meantime, the hallway erupted in laughter and jeers, totally egging him on. I could feel my face burning with humiliation as I stared at my feet, wishing to be anywhere in the world but here. I couldn't believe it. 2 minutes into my new school year, and I was already the class joke. I suddenly realized Grandma was squinting at Billy intently. At first I thought she might be considering coming to my aid, but then her face lit up and she squealed, Billy? Billy Henderson? Is that you? To my new arch nemesis. I cringed. I had no idea what was coming, but I knew it couldn't be good. Sure enough, Billy stiffened. Hi, Mrs. Miller, he mumbled out of the corner of his mouth. I cocked my head in question. The two of them knew each other? A split second later, Grandma had let go of my hand to crush Billy into a tight embrace. Guess so. Oh, Billy, she crowed, releasing him from the hug. It's so good to see you. You're all grown up now. Last time I saw you, you were 4 feet tall and still wetting the bed. Laughter broke out among the crowd, and Billy's face darkened to a beet red. I gaped in horror. This was not happening. This could not be happening. My grandma embarrassing the most popular kid in school on my first day. Billy whirled around to face the crowd. Shut up, he growled. She's lying, I swear. Was it too late to pretend the old woman had Alzheimer's and had just wandered into the school by mistake? Absolutely no relation to me whatsoever? Billy, this is my granddaughter, Mary. Evidently it was. She shoved me forward, having no idea about the scene she was causing. Mary, do you remember Billy back when you were little? He used to live down the street. I babysat him while his mother was at work. I stared at Billy. He stared back at me, his face a mixture of humiliation and fury. I read his expression clear as day. I was the one who would pay for this public embarrassment, and I would pay dearly. After all, the others might have eventually forgotten my fashion faux pas, but Billy would never forget this. Come on, Grandma, I said, steering her toward the door marked main office. I need to get my schedule. Come on, Grandma, Billy mocked in a high-pitched voice as the elderly woman turned away. Let's go home and play with unicorns. I glared at him, wanting nothing more than to smack him upside the head and wipe that ugly smirk off his face. But what good would it do, really? There was no winning for me in this situation, and I knew it. So I sucked up my pride and turned away, following Grandma into the office, where she was talking to a secretary. I think you're all set now, Madeline, she declared, handing me a slip of paper. I've done my grandmotherly duties. Now you behave yourself on your first... What is this voice? What am I doing? Now behave yourself on your first day. I sighed and took the schedule. Thanks, Grandma, I said. Have a great day, sweetie, and I'll see you back at the house tonight. Stepping out into the hall, she called out, I'll even make you your favorite bunny rabbit cookies. Ah, yes, the bunny rabbit cookies I liked back when I was 6 years old. The icing on the anti-cool cake. Bye, Grandma, I said, resigning myself to my fate of school loser. I reluctantly stepped into the hallway and faced the masses again. Aren't you going to say goodbye to Grandma? Chelsea was teasing Billy, nudging him in the ribs. He glowered at her. Shut the hell up, he growled. I don't even know who that crazy loon was. Loon? Really? Okay. She certainly seemed to know you. Billy wets the bed. Billy wets the bed. Lucy chimed in a sing-song voice. Shut up! Billy roared. He met my eyes with his. Yes, that is generally how you meet someone's eyes. Furious and full of hatred. You are so dead, freak girl, he muttered under his breath. Then he pushed by me and into the crowd, which parted for him as it did before. His gang followed him, still giggling. Chad lagged behind, glancing backwards. He caught my eye, probably with his own eye, gave a sheepish shrug, and mouthed the word sorry. Oh, so he's one of those like feckless, spineless loser guys who won't stop his friends from bullying people, but will like apologize about it afterward. He's maybe the Canada of high school friends. I stared after them, shocked by Chad's apology. I had so not expected that. Maybe he was different from his friends. Not that it mattered. Nice or not, he was way out of my league and I knew it. Still, he was so cute. So cute. Wow, way to make a first impression, said a voice to my right as the crowd dispersed. I looked over to see the Elvis Costello boy on my right. He wore a black turtleneck, dark blue jeans, and thick black glasses over his brown eyes. Wow, I kind of want to beat this kid up. Very hipster nerd chic. I'm Matt, he said, holding out his hand. And you, Matty, have just embarrassed the most powerful kid in school. I didn't say anything, I protested weakly, knowing that it didn't matter. I was guilty by association, and while Billy couldn't retaliate against Grandma, he could and would make my life a living hell. I just knew it. This is so not how I wanted my first day to begin. Meh. It's really not about you, you know. Meh. Wow, really, meh. You're using meh, huh? Those guys hate pretty much everyone not in their immediate social circle. And that means 95% of the school. Funny when you consider the same 95% loves them and worships the ground they walk on. I made a face. Well, not me. Count me in for hating the haters, thank you very much. Except maybe Chad. He was different. But I wasn't about to admit that to Matt. The haters, Matt chuckled. That's a fitting name, actually. The bell rang, cutting him off. Gotta get to class, he said, winking at me. See you around. And don't let the haters get you down. Again, I'm pretty sure that's another Taylor Swift song, even though this is like a skater girl who would listen to MCR and like Avril Lavigne. Anyways, that's chapter 1, so we'll come back to this.